My name is Vonya Womack, and I'm a marketing professor here in the United States. We're getting ready to celebrate UNESCO World Press Freedom Day, which is happening on May 3rd. And as we get ready to do that, I thought that I would bring to the attention Freedom Day, Press Freedom Day, about a situation that's happening in Turkey right now. And there really needs to be more light shed on this situation in regards to journalists being jailed. So last summer, I actually had the opportunity to meet with several different journalists in a refugee camp. And one in particular that I talked to really gave me a good perspective in regards to what's happening right now in Turkey with these journalists getting jailed. So, for example, there are some that are actually getting life sentences. Others are getting sentences from 7 to 12 years, and that could just be for retweeting information. So, free access to information and freedom of speech, they're all under attack in Turkey. And those are things that we need to be aware of and that we need to make sure that we try to do something about. Because when you have that, where your freedom of speech is under attack, the core of your democracy starts to crumble. And Turkey is an important country for us here in the world. And so we need to really work and understand what's happening and make others aware of what's happening to the journalists in regards to freedom of speech, freedom of information that they're trying to provide in Turkey. And instead, when they do, they're getting jailed for it. So my hope is that on May 3rd, for World Press Freedom Day, that we're able to kind of bring a lens and shed light on exactly what's happening in Turkey, and that first and foremost, that those journalists are able to be released, and be released sooner rather than later.
My name is Sideris. I'm a journalist and researcher in Greek television and radio, and I'm making documentaries. You know that Turkey today is the biggest prison in the world. But the problem is not new, because the Turkish state, it's a mix about secular and religional state. And for many years, many decades before, journalists were targeting from Turkish state. I would like to remind to you that Hrandik, a very famous Armenian journalist, killed from someone at 2007. And I would like to remind you that many Kurdish journalists and leftist journalists too were targeting from Turkish state. After Gezi Park and after corruption scandal in December 2013, Turkish government were targeting journalists who are close to Hizmet movement, because these journalists and this media, for example, Zaman or Bugün TV, brought to the light all of the details about corruption scandal. And you know that after coup attempt, this media were the first media who talking about the real situation in Turkey. I think that the problem about press freedom in Turkey, it is not today, only today. It is not new problem. It is a continuous, a constant problem in Turkish democracy. I call the Turkish government to respect the press freedom, the expression freedom, the speech free, and I call all the formal authorities and all the international association of journalists to respect and the human rights of journalists, and to talk free about what real happened in Turkey. I'm very sad about this action because many hundreds of women are now in Turkish prison with babies. My God, all of these people, all of these women, and of course this baby, are not terrorists, are not criminals. I don't know why the Turkish state, the Turkish government arrested these people. I want to explain a formal explanation what happens and all of these people arrested and imprisoned today. But this problem is not a small problem, because in Turkey for many years we have problems about human rights for women and children. You know that we have reports from UNICEF about murders of children in southeastern Turkey, and you know that the Human Rights Watch announced for many murders of women and many murders of people who have a different sexual identity.